Mercy Me is coming to Pittsburgh, the Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and special guest Andrew Ripp, Thursday, October 5th. Bring your family and friends to the PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh for Mercy Me, Crowder, and Andrew Ripp live in concert. 3 multiple award-winning artists on one stage for one night. Let your spirit soar, your heart sing, and your faith ignite. Mark your calendars for Thursday, October 5th. Get your tickets now at mercyme.org.
There's a tremendous amount of peer pressure on mothers. We are horrible to one another. We compare ourselves constantly. So when we're in that drive mode to be the perfect mom, we have to realize our kids hate it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Christy Wright Show, where faith meets personal development so you can have a bigger faith and a better life. I'm so excited because today we are talking about some very practical things that you can do to improve your life, and specifically your parenting if you're a parent. And then later on the show, I get to sit down with my good friend. She's a best-selling author. She's also a doctor, Meg Meeker, and she's got some wisdom for us on how we can shake the guilt, be more present, enjoy our kids more, and enjoy our lives more. But first, I want to start by giving you 5 signs that something needs to change in your life. Now, I want to give you a disclaimer out of the gate that these 5 signs that I have put together for you could be signs of something else, but I would be willing to bet that they might all have the same root cause. The good news is I also have a very practical solution for all of them. So let's dig into the 5 signs something needs to change. The first sign you're not going to be surprised by because we talk about this a lot. That is that you're anxious. If you're anxious in an ongoing way, if you're anxious every day for weeks and months on end, something's going on. Now, you all know that I am such a fan and friend of Dr. John Deloney, who specializes in anxiety and helping people understand anxiety and cope with it and manage it. But this is something that you have got to think about in your life. You were not created to live your whole life anxious. I know that we live in an anxiety-filled world. And I know that even if you do your best to pray, have your quiet time, breathe deeply, feel at peace, still the moment you turn on the news or scroll Instagram or show up at work and someone's having a fit about something, that anxiety can be in your face and it can get in you. But I just want to encourage you, this is no way to live. If you feel like you are walking around all day, every day with a tight chest, your shoulders are scrunched up by your ears, and you're just tense, your jaw is tense, you're nervous, you've got butterflies in your stomach, you've got a nauseous feeling, you just feel like there's a lack of ease about you. This is a sign something needs to change. The cause of your anxiety might differ from someone else, but this is a sign that something needs to change. So the first sign something needs to change is that you're anxious. The second sign is that you've lost your fun. Maybe you stopped having fun. Maybe you stopped being fun. When you look back on your week in this season that you're in and the regular rhythms of your life, do you see a lot of fun? If you're not having fun or being fun, this is a sign something needs to change. Y'all, life is too short. Life is too short to just go through the motions of you wake up, you go to work, you check off tasks on your to-do list, and you go to bed at night to wake up and do it all again. Life should be fun. And you get to decide what your version of fun is. I don't know what's fun for you. Maybe it's being alone. Maybe it's a roller coaster at a theme park. Maybe it's going on a scavenger hunt with your kids. Maybe it's a date night. Maybe it's taking up a new hobby. I don't know. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you have fun in your life. So if you've lost your fun, if you can't remember the last time you had fun, the last time you laughed, the last time you were carefree and just played, hate to tell you, but that's a sign something needs to change. It's an indicator that something is going on in your life. Either you're too busy for fun to fit in, you're too anxious about something going on, or something else. But if you have lost your fun, it's a sign that something needs to change. Now, the third sign that something needs to change is that you are trying to control everything. Now, I'll tell you, I'm guilty of this. I get it. In our crazy busy lives, we want some sense of control. We try to control it with our calendar. We try to control it with our to-do list. We try to control it with disciplining our kids. We try to control things as much as we can. But here's the problem. There's only so many things you can control. A lot is outside of your control. So how your kids act in public, partly out of your control. Even if you're the best parent in the world, you never know how those little people are going to act and what they're going to do. Even if you try to control everything in your calendar, things are going to pop up. Things are going to cancel. Things are going to change. Even if you try to control your to-do list, things always won't go like you hope they will. Even if you try to control your relationships, which is not a great idea, by the way, you know that doesn't work. When you obsessively try to control everything, it leads to anxiety, it leads to not having any fun, and it leads to frustration in your life. If you find yourself trying to micromanage your relationships, trying to control everything and getting frustrated when you can't because you can't and you won't, then that's a sign something needs to change. In fact, often when we feel out of control, we actually go to great lengths to try to control what we can. I joked about this in a recent episode, but I was going through a season recently where there was a lot of transition. There was a lot going on with my kids. And I was, without realizing it, rearranging my house compulsively. Matt would come home one day and Conley's bed is on this wall. And then the next day, his bed is on this wall. And then the next day, his bed is back on that wall, but the train table's on a different wall. He's like, are you okay? Do we need to talk? Do we need to maybe go see our counselor? And I realized because I was in this transition that was really difficult for me and a lot of things felt out of control, I was trying to control one thing I felt like I could control, which is the organization of the furniture in our home. It's weird, but it's true. And I'd be willing to bet you've done that too. So if you are trying to control everything, even weird things like where your furniture goes obsessively, might be a sign something's going on. Might be a sign something needs to change. So the first sign that something needs to change is that you're anxious. The second sign that something needs to change is you've lost your fun. The third sign that something needs to change is you're trying to control everything. And the fourth sign that something needs to change is you are discontent. You're just discontent. You're unhappy with your relationships. You're unhappy with the way that your house is organized or where the furniture is. You're unhappy with work. You're just discontent. Now, spoiler alert, what needs to change in this area isn't necessarily that you just need to get everything you want. What needs to change might be your attitude. But if you're regularly discontent, you're regularly jealous of others, you're envying others, you're unhappy, you're ungrateful, you're just discontent, that's a sign something needs to change. That's a sign there's something going on in you that, by the way, is increasing your anxiety, sucking the fun out of your life, and showing you, hey, this is a symptom, something's going on, and something needs to change. So if you find yourself discontent and just overall unhappy, that's a sign. That's a sign that something needs to change in your life. It might be an external thing that would fix your discontentment. It might be internal in terms of changing your attitude. But either way, something has got to change. Now, the fifth sign that something has got to change, and I want you to stick with me on this one because you're not going to like it, okay? Some people have said, I'm your bossy big sister you didn't know you had, you didn't know you needed, and I am here for you. But I'm just going to call you out on this one. And I'm calling myself out on it too, okay? The fifth sign that something needs to change is you're being mean. Yeah, I said it. You're being mean. You're being mean to your kids. You're mean to your spouse, you're mean to your friends, you're mean to your coworkers, you're short-tempered, you're impatient, you're resentful, you're angry, you're overreacting to situations, you have no grace for people when they fall short, and probably I'd be willing to bet you're being mean to yourself. You're hard on others because you're hard on yourself. You're unhappy with others because you're unhappy with yourself. We project onto others how we feel about ourselves. And regardless of where it starts with you or with them, or maybe a little bit of both, you're just being mean. You're not enjoying the moments that you should be enjoying. You're not having fun. You're obsessing over the wrong things. You're trying to control everything. You're anxious. You're no fun. And as a result, you're just being mean. So hypothetically, on Sunday morning, which should be a lovely day as a family where you get ready, you go to church, and you remember the foundation of faith that you built your life on. Instead, you're screaming at your kids to get in the car. You're yelling at everybody. You're mad because your kids won't wear the matching monogrammed outfit you want them to wear to show everybody at church what a good mom you are. Ever done that? I'm sure you haven't. And then you're just being mean. And you don't mean to. You don't realize it. You didn't set out to be an unhappy, unfun, anxious, control freak, discontent, mean mom. No one sets that as their life goal. Do you? I didn't. But a little bit here, a little bit there. An untucked shirt, a messy couch, something not going your way. And by degrees, we get there. By degrees, our anxiety increases, our fun decreases. We control everything. We're discontent in every area of our life. And as a result, we can just be downright mean. Women, I want you to know that you carry the vast majority of the emotional weight in your family. You are the thermostat. You set the tone emotionally for your family. If your kids are anxious, your husband is walking on eggshells, could be, maybe not, but could be related to the tone that you're setting. Are you being mean? Are you being short-tempered? If you have any of these 5 signs, and I am guilty of every single one of them, if you have any of those, it's a sign something needs to change. Something needs to change. Might be you need some time to yourself. Might be you need to get with God. Might be you need to change your attitude. Might be you need to get to counseling. Might be something else. Might be something simple. Can I offer something really simple that would help all 5 of these? It's not a perfect formula and it's not a quick fix, but it is something that's a very simple solution that will solve or at least improve every single one of those 5 signs. Are you ready for it? Have fun. Have fun. It's so simple, y'all. What is something fun you could do today? What is something you didn't plan to do, but you're going to create fun? When you're having fun, you're not anxious. When you're having fun, you are more fun to be around. When you're having fun, you're not trying to control everything because there's nothing about fun that can be controlled. It's free, it's spontaneous, it's adventure, it's full of life. When you're having fun, you're not thinking about how you're discontent because, you're having fun. And when you're having fun, you're not mean because you're happy. You're laughing. You see how that one small step, that one simple solution, just creating fun in your life, can fix or at least improve all 5 of those signs that something needs to change? I don't know what it is for you. I don't know which of those 5 you identify with more. I don't know which one's convicting you in your heart right now. I'm certainly guilty of all of them, but I just want to encourage you, if something needs to change, it's on you to change it. And that change might be something simple like having fun today. Meg Meeker, it is so good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Oh, it's wonderful to see you too, Christy. I miss seeing you in person.
I know.
COVID stuff, yeah.
I know. We used to be on the road together all the time, but at least we have this outlet to be able to hang out and talk. You know, we were talking, Meg, about planning our content for the fall for the Christy Wright Show, and we were talking about you because you are someone that, to me, is not just a source of a wealth of wisdom, but you have such practical tips, especially for parents, and being a mom of 3 kids, age 6 and under. This is something I was just telling you before we even started recording. I learn from you all the time. And so I'm so excited to dive in today to talk about some of the things that we struggle with as parents. And I know that all of my listeners are not parents. And so for those that are not, I totally get that this may not apply to them. But for those that are, and it is a high percentage, parenting is so consuming, especially when you have especially when you have little kids. And so I want to dive into this because as I was thinking about this episode, there was one particular aspect of parenting that I think is really hard. You and I have talked about it before. We talked about it when you were on the Business Boutique podcast. You and I have talked about it when we're at Sound Checks for Smart Conference.
Yeah.
It's this idea that parents, but especially moms, man, even if we don't mean to, we tend to make our children the center of the universe. What is going on in us that makes this happen? Let's just start there.
Well, first of all, I love this topic, and a lot of show hosts don't want to talk about it. So I'm glad.
I like talking about the hard stuff specifically.
I love the hard stuff too. Here's how it came about, and the fun thing is, I've been alive long enough to see it. You know, when women decided that we were going to charge forth and we wanted a career in our families, it was great. We did that. And then we started to reflect on our own upbringing. We felt our parents were never there for us. We wanted to be different. So we were going to show up for all of our kids, everything. So we did that. Then we felt, well, we can't stop there. We've got to be better than that, particularly mothers. We wanted to be excellent in our careers, but we wanted to be excellent as mothers. And what that morphed into was the sense that in order to be excellent, we needed to attend to our kids' needs, their wants, their desires, everything about them. So our focus shifted from what we felt we needed to do to be better at our work and better at mothers to just sort of hyper focus on our children to make sure we didn't make mistakes. We didn't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
Right? If our kid was going to be an Olympic swimmer and we as mothers didn't figure that out by the time they're 5, we blew it.
Yeah.
Right. So we need to feed them the right things. We need to get them in the right activities. We need to get them in the right schools. We need to make sure their speech is great. We need to make sure they're reading by, 4. You get it. And so we put in this tremendous amount of energy because we believe that we could craft this kid into the perfect person. And that would make us feel like perfect moms. And so I'm not throwing darts at mothers. I get this. I totally get it because I'm a grandmother now. But that's what launched this kid into the center of the family and gave us that sense that we need to give up us.
Yeah.
Right. We need to sacrifice all to make sure this child had everything possible. And that has caused tremendous disruption and pain in marriages. It's horrible for kids. This really all started in the 70s with feminism, and I was charging. But that's how it all came about. In order to be super moms, the super moms to our kids, we couldn't miss a thing.
Yeah.
And that's why we had to hyper-focus.
Well, and there's such pressure in that message. Like it's a suffocating kind of pressure. I saw something on Instagram years ago, and it has always stuck with me because it's so true. It says, we expect women to work like they don't have children and raise children like they don't work, especially for those moms that work outside the home. So many women are walking around, Meg, they are, and I see it every day, and I definitely struggle with this myself, but I see this. They are weighed down. They are weighed down by guilt. They are weighed down by this false narrative that they're failing. So it feels like this shadow that haunts us, that we're not enough. And what kills me about this, Meg, aside from the fact that it's exhausting to pursue that moving target, the finish line that always moves, but it's completely robbing us of enjoying right now, of enjoying you pick up takeout on the way home, your kids are in their pajamas when you go to Walmart the next day. Like the imperfection and the messiness and the reality of life, we're missing it. And so I want to hear your perspective, especially not only from your work and your life's work of knowing this from a psychology perspective, but you've been a mom and a grandmother as well. So talk a little bit about the effect this is having on us.
Well, first of all, we're driven towards what we define perfectionism, not just in our work, but in motherhood. Okay, so we each define it a little bit differently. And what that does means we need to drive and watch and make sure. There's a tremendous amount of peer pressure on mothers. We are horrible to one another. Horrible. Okay, we compare ourselves constantly. Have you lost the last 10 pounds of baby fat? Where are you working? How much are you working? What kind of daycare? And it's horrible for us, but I want to sort of walk into a child's perspective here. Okay, so a child looks to mom, and make no mistake, this child picks up on that and it makes him or her anxious. Okay. Why is mom worrying? Why is mom doing this? Why is mom giving me, sandwiches that are cut into 10 pieces when I can eat the whole thing whole? Okay. It makes a child scared. It makes a child feel like, I'm the reason my mom is acting like this. I'm the reason that my mom is so stressed out all the time. Imagine if that were you. It gives kids a sense that they have a power they don't want. Okay. When they see mom jumping all around them to make sure they never miss a soccer game, they never give them peanuts, so he's going to have a piece. It's terrifying for a kid. And so when we're in that drive mode to be the perfect mom, we have to realize our kids hate it. Let me give you a fun example, Christy. Women are all about their weight. Okay. We got to be going to the gym. We got to be on this diet. We got to be doing that. Okay. I was talking to a 5-year-old in my practice, and he was talking about his grandmother. As a grandmother, this warms my heart. He said, I love being with my grandmother. And I said, what do you like so much about being with your grandmother? He said, I love to hug her. And I thought, well, that's nice. Doesn't your mom hug her? Why do you like to hug your grandma? Because she's so squishy. From a kid's perspective, he didn't want to hug a bony mom.
You know what, Meg? It's so funny you say that. I dropped my kids off at the Y. This was years ago. My husband and I had gone to the Y. And this woman takes my baby into childcare. And she's a bigger woman. She's a heavier set woman. And she goes, "Ooh, girl, those babies love me." She goes, "All these women around here are box springs. I got a plush mattress." I was like, I love that so much.
And and this is where I would encourage mom to try to look at life from your kid's perspective.
Which is so hard, Meg. Like, that's so hard for us to do.
But you can train yourself to do it, okay? Because if you see your child as the center of your world, as the cause of your freneticism and angst, and to realize he or she hates it, then you can start to identify, okay, today, where am I really going nuts? What's really driving me to crazy? Okay, I want to stop at McDonald's on the way home, but I can't because then I'm a bad mom. So I better go home and prepare, this gluten-free, all this wonderful food and sit down with my child and eat. If you were a kid, would you rather get a kid's meal in the drive-thru, go home, throw a blanket in the backyard and sit down and eat that with your mom and chat? Or would you rather your mom go home and freak out about her great food?
Right.
Kids don't care what food we give them. Kids don't care what weight we are. They don't care.
Yeah.
Kids don't care if we have a bigger house. As a matter of fact, kids like smaller houses because they're closer to each other.
Wow.
And so everything we strive to do to be perfect moms, to measure up to our friends, to make sure we don't miss anything, is our kids pick up on that and it makes them feel crazy.
Yeah.
So if you really want a relaxed kid, relax, let go of that, and then give yourself some time to go out with your husband once a week. It shows your kid, wow, if you want your child to feel secure, really secure, let him see mom and dad leaving him and going off and having fun, because when you're having fun, your kid doesn't worry.
Yes. Okay, that right there is so powerful because, Meg, I have seen it even in our family when Matt and I go on a date, and we do it not every week for sure, but at least once a month probably. We go on a date. Mm-hmm. And when we do, even though we've done this really regularly, our kids are always like, "Where are you going?" "Well, what are you doing?" Well, why? Well, I don't understand. And we explain, like, Mommy and Dad are going to date. We're going to have time just as we explain it. And you can tell they're kind of like intrigued and mystified and amazed. And then another thing I see in our household, when Matt and I will flirt or mess with me, like he'll like tickle me or we're just being silly, they see it and their faces light up. They delight in seeing their mom and dad play and wrestle and tickle. And then they come try to get in on it. We can't hug and they're not trying to get in on what we're doing. And so I even see that sense of delight and security, like you're saying. And I think that we miss the benefits of that because we're so busy just trying to do all the things. But you said something in a second ago I want to circle back to when you were talking about our anxiety. And you said, when we're anxious, trying to do all the things, be perfect, rush around, have all the perfect meal, et cetera, our kids feel that and they don't want that pressure. Is our anxiety creating anxiety in them? Because I've heard some stuff about that of like, they become anxious because we're anxious, because the message is almost, I would guess, I'm not a psychologist, but I would guess the message is, well, if mom and dad are scared or mom's scared, if mom's nervous about something, then we must have something we need to be nervous about. Where it's this implicit message that there is something to fear, there is something to stress, and we can't hide it. We think we can hide it as moms. Like, oh, we'll just put on our happy face and get a high-pitched voice going and we're going to be good. No, they know. They pick up on it.
Know. Well, and here's another thing. Not only, first of all, you're absolutely right. And a lot of the anxiety, the rise in anxiety that I'm seeing in my office and that pediatricians across the country are seeing, the rise in anxiety in kids is because there's a rise in anxiety in parents. Okay, but here's one thing we can't forget. When we're anxious, our kids wear that anxiety, but there's more. Because kids developmentally are very self-centered, they feel, and it's not right, but they feel they're the cause of a lot of that anxiety. Okay. And that's why when you have divorced parents, parents can tell their kids as much as they want. You didn't do it. You didn't do it. It doesn't matter. Yep. Developmentally, until that child is much older and his thinking is more developed, kids take that on. I caused mom and dad to be this way. I caused mom and dad. Kids worry about their parents. So when your kids, Christy, see you go off for a fun evening, they go, oh, good, I don't have to worry about them tonight.
Wow.
You see, that's what they're feeling. Right. Oh, good, mom and dad are okay. So now I can just think about the game I want to play. If mom and dad are anxious, they can't think about being 5 or 6 or 8 or 10. Yeah. They are so tuned into your anxiety because they feel that they directly have something to do with it because you pay so much attention to them and want to make sure that they're okay and are anxious doing that. You get in this terrible vicious cycle. So the best thing that mothers can do for ourselves, and I've trained myself to do this, honestly, so you can do it, make a list of all the things that are driving you crazy as a mom. Okay, worrying about this and worrying about that. And just say to yourself, I'm going to worry about that tomorrow. But today I'm going to let it go. I don't care what my kids eat today. Tomorrow I can feed them organic. But for today I'm not going to. Sure. And eventually you start to let that stuff go. Your anxiety goes, and guess what happens? Your kids are more relaxed. When you're striving for perfectionism in the home or at work, there's no relaxation for anyone. No. The worst pain it causes is on your kids because it gives them that sense of power over mom they can't deal with.
Yeah. And, it's interesting because I think that when we begin to look at this from a different perspective, it convicts us in a good way to want to change, to not to want to continue that. And I've realized that me as a mom, when I focus on the wrong thing, whether that is obsessing about everyone being monogrammed smock shirts for church with your shirt tucked in, or everybody eating the right meal, or whatever the thing is, I actually become someone that I don't like. Exactly. I actually turn into a woman I don't want to be, a mother I don't want to be. But I chase these things, sometimes unconsciously, Meg. And I think, there's a scene from the show Little Fires Everywhere where Reese Witherspoon does this. She screams at her family in front of the tree. And in that moment, I saw myself in her and I thought, I don't want to be anything like that. So help us identify when we're doing that. When are we, whether it's chasing perfectionism or chasing Instagram's version of motherhood success or whatever, how can we check ourselves? Because sometimes I think we don't mean to. It's very unconscious. How can we check ourselves and go, whoa, shirt being tucked in, photo in front of the tree, these things are not important. What is important is getting to church. What is important is having a good Christmas. How can we catch ourselves before we go down that path?
Yeah. Well, there's a 3-letter word that mothers need to learn to use every single day, and that is why. Okay. If I were in your home and you had all your striped pajamas on in front of the Christmas tree, scream at your kids to sit down and go, Christy, come here. Sit down. Why are you doing this? Well, everybody needs to know that we have a happy family. My kids have to be happy.
Be happy, dang it.
And they have a picture to look at. seriously?
Why?
Throw the camera away.
Right.
Have fun. Go outside. Well, in Nashville, you don't have snow. Have a snowball fight. Do something ridiculous, And so whenever you find yourself doing something on the verge of making you a crazy woman, done that, stop.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why do I have to get home in time to have, this perfect meal? And why do my kids have to start their homework at 9 on the dot or whatever? And once we really dig down and we're honest with ourselves, then we can start peeling off all of that junk, and it's all junk.
Yeah.
Think about this. When your kids are 25 and they're looking back on their lives with you, okay, what are they going to remember? Are they going to remember the pajamas? No.
Right.
They're going to remember the wonderful conversations you had, how you made them feel at certain moments, and how you hurt them at certain moments. That's what kids do.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. They're not going to think about the meals or the clothes.
Right.
That's your deal.
That's right. It's
That's
all about
your
us.
deal.
It's all about us. All
all
the things
about
we
it.
obsess over are about us, to show that we're a good mom, to feel like a good mom, to make other people think that we're a good mom. And I just think that reminder is so powerful because it changes how we approach not just holidays and photos, it changes how we approach everything. When you said there's a 3-letter word moms need to start using, the word I thought you were going to say is yes. Because for me, my default is often no. No, don't hit your brother. And it's just survival at this point. With 3 little kids, it is a lot of no's. No, you can't have cupcakes for breakfast. No, you just can't. No. And so we have to say no so often. So I've tried to find opportunities to say yes. But it's in light of what you said a minute ago. See the world through your kids' eyes. So when my son says, hey, can we get Chick-fil-A and go sit in the backyard, instead of no, because that requires thinking and different and a change of plans and change of how I envision this night, go, oh, can we do that? Yeah. Like when you can say yes, say yes. Kids are so creative, and thankfully I'm creative, so I that part of my brain just totally connects there. But the silly things we do are the things they love the most and remember the most. When we had all these boxes from something, when we got new plates, we built a fort out of boxes. Like that's the kind of stuff they love, not the monogrammed, outfits for Easter or whatever. And so I love that reminder that when we can see the world through our kids' eyes, when we can ask why we're doing these things that are stressing us and our kids out, to stop doing them, but then find opportunities to say yes to the things that they're asking for that are fun, that are absolutely easy to do, to see the world through their eyes. I think that that's going to set us free to have more fun and be the people we want to be.
And you know how great a kid would feel if life at home was fun? Now, it isn't a lot because life is stressful at home. It is what it is. I'll never forget a time, and see, this is what I'm talking about. Our kids are older now, and they remember moments that my husband and I had with them. Moments, not years or months. And one night we had the northern lights out, and they come out about 1 a.m. And unbeknownst to me, my husband woke all the kids up in their pajamas. It's cold. It's January. And they sat on the front steps, no blankets, no coats, nothing, and looked up at the northern lights. When I found out about it, I almost freaked out. Are you kidding? Why are you doing? And you know what? It was such a treasure to our kids.
Yeah.
And those are the things we need to do. It is to just stop in the middle of the day, stop everything, and go, guys, let's go for a swim, or let's go for a bike ride, or let's, when they're miserable and everything, that's what they remember. So when you're doing something that is frustrating the heck out of you, you say, why am I doing this? Okay.
Why
and it's not going to be about you. And then unpack that and then say, okay, I know that doing this is driving my kids crazy. So I'm just going to let it go and have some fun. Clean houses. Who wants their friends to come over when your house is a mess? I invited all of my friends, whenever you're around, just walk into my house because it gives me the perfect excuse to have my house a mess because I didn't know they were coming.
Yeah.
Right. And so that kind of pressure, just let it go. Have the guts to be who you are in front of your friends and family. I don't send Christmas cards. It still makes me feel guilty because my friends feel like I'm antisocial. You know what? It puts too much stress on me.
Yeah.
I don't make, 10 different types of Christmas cookies.
Yeah.
I make 2.
Yeah.
And I don't have a perfect tree. And if everything isn't done by the time the kids get here with their grandkids, oh, well, they don't see it anyway. And they don't want it. And they don't want to be around a miserable, obnoxious, anxious mother who's paying more attention to the stuff around them and trying to get it perfect than them.
That is so powerful.
So rather than open the door to them and go, I am so glad to see you, and have a messy house, that's what they want. They don't want you to open the door and all the Christmas lights are where they're supposed to be, but I'm kind of tense.
Yeah.
What do they want? They want a relaxed, fun mom who's happy.
They want a relaxed, fun mom who's happy. That is so powerful, Megan. You're so right, because you think about it, you're like, what they really crave is your attention. What they really crave is your presence and your joy. And all this crap just gets in the way of us being able to do that. So thank you for that. That is so insightful and such a good reminder for me in the trenches with these little kids. Okay, you are so passionate about helping moms, helping dads, helping parents with their kids, and you have this new community, Parenting Great Kids community. Tell us about that and how people can find out more information about everything you're working on. I know you've got courses, you've got training for them, you've got discussion questions, all that. So tell them how they can connect with you and learn more about that.
Well, really going to my website, Meg Meeker MD, or Meeker Parenting. Actually, that's the best, meekerparenting.com. I'll tell you why I created the community, Christy, because you know this. When you write books, you put the books out there. Sometimes you get a letter, you get reviews, but there's this distance. And I wanted to be able to be closer to the people that I'm trying to help. And so I create a community where people can join, and I answer their questions. I come on video, we chat, parents follow up. I say, try this. A month or two later, they follow up. Well, this is working, this isn't working. Just to know that somebody's in there who has your back.
Yeah.
And my job is to have people's back. And I always tell patients in my office who say, oh, my kid has a brain tumor, my kid has cystic fibrosis. I said, look, my job is to figure all that out. If your kid has a brain tumor, it's my job to find that and worry about it, not yours. So take it off your shoulders.
Yeah.
And my Parenting Great Kids community is an attempt to take the fear off parents' shoulders and let me participate in guiding where their kids are going.
Yeah.
Because I really believe, Christy, if I can help parents be happy, kids are fine.
Yeah.
So parents say, talk to my kids, do this, treat them for anxiety. And I'll say, okay, kid, leave the room. Let's just talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been in your shoes. I've yelled at my kids. I've spanked my kids when I didn't mean to. I get it.
Yeah.
And so, but I have learned through the years to just sort of put all that stuff aside and go do crazy stuff with my grandkids, because those are the memories that they're going to remember. So Parenting Great Kids community, just go to meekerparenting.com website.
I love it. Well, it's going to be such a great resource for people, because I'll tell you, especially, I know I'm in the season of littles, but we need all the help we can get, because it is a very hard and exhausting job. So, Meg, you're amazing. You are just so kind, and you just encourage people, but you also call them to action, and I love that about you. And I know there are such great tangible takeaways that people are listening to going, oh, I can make that one small change today. Ask myself why when I'm getting worked up. Things like that actually have a huge domino effect in our marriages, in our families, and in our lives overall. So thank you for being here. Thanks for your time and for hanging out with us.
You bet. Thanks, Christy.
All right, y'all, I'm going to be answering some of your questions. And if you're watching on YouTube, then you can see we are doing something new. I'm going to be answering your questions that you've asked on social media, but we've actually got some callers today. And so I'm so excited because I get to talk to you, which you know I love to do. So we're going to start out by going to Heidi in Columbus, Ohio. Hey, Heidi, how are you?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. What's going on?
Well, yes, so I have a question. How do I not dread each day? I feel overwhelmed with a huge checklist, and it makes it hard to find joy in the ability to be present every day.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, Heidi. When I'm overwhelmed, I don't feel real joyful either. I get it, and I am with you. But talk to me a little bit more about what is going on. So what is this checklist? What's your season of life? What specifically is overwhelming you? Because I want to kind of get to the root of what's going on here.
Sure. So I am a stay-at-home mom right now of a 3 and almost 6-month-old. And basically, it's just very overwhelming to me to get up, and my middle child has some health issues, and so he has lots of different appointments. It feels like every week. And then just trying to balance doing homeschool preschool with my oldest, and then playing with the little one. And then it sometimes gets down to, I just need to fold laundry, and I can't do it. And my checklist sometimes just are basic things, but I just get daunted by baby's crying and she needs a bottle, or I just feel so pulled in so many directions that at the end of the day, I just go, I didn't get anything. I felt like I didn't get anything done. It just gets so tiring sometimes.
Yes, Heidi, listen to me. You're exhausted.
Yes.
You're exhausted. Now, part of that is exactly everything you just described. You have 3 kids. You have one that has some health issues going on. You're running them around to different appointments. I know what that feels like. Just having health issues and lots of appointments for one child is enough to zap your energy and your heart, because it's scary as a mom to have a child that has things going on. You don't know what it is, and you want to do the right thing, and you're not sure what the right thing is, and you've got a million professionals in your face telling you need to do this and this and this, and that just adds to your overwhelm. And I get it. I want to ask you a different question, aside from everything you have going on, which totally makes sense why you're overwhelmed and why you're exhausted. I get that. I want to ask you something else, and I'm going to go ahead and probably be able to guess your answer, but this will be fun. What are you doing for you?
To be honest, I feel like I'm not doing anything for me. I do try to get a workout in 4 or 5 times a week, but there's so many days where I feel like I don't even take a moment for myself.
Yeah.
I shower, and
Yeah.
that could be about it.
Yeah. Here's the interesting thing, Heidi. You have a lot of things that are taking your energy, that require your energy. 3 kids alone requires a lot of energy. 3 little kids requires 10 times that amount of energy. Between the baths and the cutting of the nails and the brushing the teeth and in and out of car seats and in and out of appointments. That in and of itself takes so much physical energy because you're in a very physical stage of parenting. But then 3 kids at home, then homeschool, then appointments, then all the house stuff. You have so many things that take your energy. So while I am a big fan of working out, Heidi, I mean, you probably have heard me talk about this before. I'm very pro working out. Working out, while is so good for you because exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. Happy people don't just kill their husbands. This is a good thing. The truth is it also takes energy. So I'm curious, what types of things do you do, if any, that give you energy? That might mean prioritizing sleep. It might mean you go to a counselor that fills you up, something that fills you up so that you can pour out in all these areas. What does that look like in your life?
Yeah, you're right. I do see a counselor a few times a month, and I do always feel very refreshed.
Yeah.
And she kind of refocuses my attention. And I tried a few things over the last week or so. I've been trying to just give myself at night even 20 minutes just to sit and read a book.
Yeah.
Not be on the screen time, because I have been noticing as I've been trying to balance my time better is, for me, sometimes it's just sitting and talking to somebody that really refreshes me.
Yeah.
Just not to complain, just to talk, hear about their life, hear about their funny things, dream about things. Because being a stay-at-home mom, I feel like I lost that connection to the outside world.
Yes.
My coworker. I'm just at home with my husband and my kids, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, I want to give you a couple tactical things that might help. First of all, I just want to say I'm really, really proud of you because you're doing a lot of things that a lot of people don't. The fact that you're working out, which is time for you, is awesome. The fact that you're seeing a counselor is awesome. You're already checking some boxes of things I would encourage you to do. Reading a good book in the evening, that type of thing. So first of all, I just want to say well done. You know what you need, and you're making time for that. Maybe not as much as you want to, maybe not as much as you feel like you need to, but you're doing some of that stuff. But let me give you a couple practical things that you can do that might help you resist the feeling of being so overwhelmed. The first thing I want you to do is when you talk about your to-do list, I want you to put that to-do list in order of priority. So right now you've got a to-do list and it's a million things going on. What I want you to do is sit down. Maybe it's in the first 15 minutes of the day before your kids wake up, or the last 20 minutes of the day before you're going to bed, and you can be quiet, be alone, think clearly, I want you to look at that to-do list for the next day, and I want you to put it in order of priority. And then I want you to draw a line through it. And the line is going to go at the location of what has to happen goes above the line, and what does not have to happen goes below the line. Okay, it's a very simple practice where you're going, okay, if I get nothing else done, I've got to get this done. And it forces you to be really honest with yourself about what's necessary and what's unnecessary, where you begin to prioritize your list. And what's so freeing about this, Heidi, is that the next day you know what to focus on, just the top 2 or 3 or 4 things. And the things that fall below that line, if they don't happen, you don't have to beat yourself up for them, because you actually knew in advance these are not a necessity. Like laundry, it'd be nice to get to. It'd make you feel better. But my goodness, none of us get to our laundry, Heidi, and you've got 3 kids under age 5. So just forcing yourself to prioritize can be a very freeing practice. And so I want you to start there. And then the second thing that I would encourage you to do is, I don't know are you a journaler, Heidi? Do you journal?
I am.
Okay. I want you to journal in relation to your season. I want you to think about what are all the awesome things about this season. Because if you journal about those things and you think about those things, you will focus your attention towards those things, and it will make enduring the hard parts of this season a little bit easier. Does it make it go away? Does it make this season easy? It's not easy. You have 3 kids, age 5 and under. But it will make it a little bit easier. So one of the things I try to do, because Heidi, I'm in such a similar boat as you, is I try to focus on all the things I get in this season that I'll never get again. So footy pajamas. When they say their words not quite right, and it's just so cute. When they think their mama hung the moon. Some of these things that when I redirect my focus to them, when I think about them, when I am grateful for them, when I pay attention to them, I'm able to focus on the good, cherish the good, and not miss it, not wish it away, knowing that with footy pajamas comes little fingerprints all over my window that drive me crazy. and messes that I wish were not there, to be totally honest. But I want you to practice some journaling, practice focusing on the good in this season, and just remember, and I know you know this, but whether you talk to a counselor, talk to friends, and I love how you talked about connecting with friends. That's a great idea. But in these conversations, remember that it is a season. There will be a day, Heidi, there will be a day that all of your children go to the bathroom and you don't know anything about it. Can we all say amen? Praise the Lord. That day will come. And so I just want to encourage you. You're doing an amazing job. You're working out, you're journaling, you're seeing a counselor. You're doing so many things right. One tactical thing that you can do is to prioritize your to-do list so you give yourself permission to let some stuff go. Let some stuff fall below the line to preserve your energy, give you a little bit of more margin and peace of mind. And then on top of that, to journal and focus on the good in this season. And I think when you focus on the good in this season, you'll find more of it. I tell people all the time, you'll find what you're looking for. If you're looking for reasons to be down and overwhelmed and exhausted, my gosh, Heidi, you've got them, I've got them, we've all got them. And we'll find those. But if we're looking for things to be proud of and grateful for and excited about, you'll find those too. So just in your journaling, focus on the good, focus on what you're doing right, focus on the things you're proud of, focus on the things that are so special about this season that you'll never get again. And then watch how it directs your attention to it. And when you do that, you'll find more of it. Thanks for calling, Heidi. Thanks for taking care of yourself as well. Really proud of all you're already doing right. I just want to build on that, but you're doing awesome. And this season will not last forever, so I hope you cherish it. All right, y'all, this has been so fun taking your calls. I love hearing from you. Of course, as always, you can send me your questions on social media. I'm on Instagram at Christy B. Wright. That's where I probably hang out the most. And so you can tag me and send me your questions. We'll get you lined up to call into the show. And I would love to talk to you and hear more about your story and anything I can do to help. And you guys can tune in next week for another episode of The Christy Wright Show. As always, for more encouragement on becoming the person you want to be, you can go to ChristyWright.com.
Mercy Me is coming to Pittsburgh. The Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and special guest Andrew Rip. Thursday, October 5th. Bring your family and friends to the PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh for Mercy Me, Crowder, and Andrew Ripp live in concert. 3 multiple award-winning artists on one stage for one night. Let your spirit soar, your heart sing, and your faith ignite. Mark your calendars for Thursday, October 5th. Get your tickets now at mercyme.org.